had visited a couple of times, and he was always nice to me, like in person. But this is also the reason why people who are like, oh, like, how can they be racist? They were nice to you.
Welcome back, you guys. We're ready for part 2.
Yeah, if you guys saw part 1, like, you guys know how we met. I also want to remind you guys, please remember to like and subscribe, so that you guys can just continue to follow our family and be part of our journey. So we're just folding some laundry just because we live in an ever-ending laundry pile. Piles of laundry always.
So we wanted to continue our journey. I think we left you guys where I flew out to Arizona. The reason I was able to make it out there is because I called Gina on her birthday. She was not complaining, but just letting me know that she didn't have anyone that could drive a manual, and those friends that could drive a manual car had already left. And I came to the rescue. I can drive a manual, and she said, yes, please, come to drive with me.
That's not how I said it. If y'all watch it, y'all know what I said.
That's exactly what happened. So let's continue on.
In Mesa, Arizona, and we chose to make this like an enjoyable trip. Like, we weren't just driving through.
What do we give ourselves, 4 or 5 days?
No, we give ourselves like pretty much a week.
It was a week?
Yeah, remember we were in like Alabama for like 2 days, remember? We like stopped in Alabama for
I know
2 days.
our first stop was the Grand Canyon.
Yep.
I think we were just tired because we got there when it was dark, and Gina's like, I am not going down those paths when it's dark.
Because
getting eaten by a bear and rattlesnakes and everything else.
It wasn't just bears, like, it's dark, so you wouldn't, I was afraid you wouldn't be able to see the edge all of a sudden. I'd be on the news like, black woman with white man go to see Grand Canyon. Well, she saw more than that.
So we ended up saying, you know what, like, let's just keep going. And we get like 30 minutes down the road and then just like have to stop to sleep for the night. And then we never went back to the Grand Canyon.
Do you know that while we slept in the car, I was just like contemplating, like, should I kiss this guy? Should I kiss this guy?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, I remember so much.
Because you were so grumpy at the Grand Canyon.
I was tired. I get grumpy. You get grumpy when you're tired.
I do.
Okay, well, I get grumpy when I'm tired too. In that time, I was like, man, like, we're sitting right here, like, I could just kiss the guy right now. And I didn't. We would have been making out the whole trip instead of just the end of the trip. The
next stop was Texas, where we went
and
met
visited
with some of my family. Yeah.
Which he was already making me meet his family and everything.
That's right. Not even dating yet, and Gina was meeting my family. How about that?
See, girls, you'll know when he likes you. Unless you're me, because then you won't know.
And then you won't know.
Then you won't know. It's funny too, remember how my muffler got messed up and they had to help me with that?
Oh yeah, they did help us with that. My eyes start watering, Gina's eyes start watering, this weird smell. We're like, what is going on? Then what, like another hour? Like we're just suffering. We're just like, it just must be the desert. And then we hear this clink, clink, clink. And we look in the rearview mirror, and Gina's like entire muffler fell off.
Muffler's falling off, and it's like, it wasn't really smoking.
No, because the smoke was going into the car. That's what made our eyes burn.
We put the windows down.
Like,
I remember
we did
that.
put the windows down, but like we were like gonna die if we kept going.
I'm gonna die. But you were already planning for us to see your aunt, weren't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were already planning to see them. We just came with an extra surprise of like, hey, can you help us fix this? And so they were able to, my uncle was able to spot weld the muffler back on until we got back to Georgia and your dad could take care of it.
Okay, we need to talk about Houston. What happened at Houston?
What happened at Houston?
That's when you told me that you had a crush on me this whole time. So, like, I remember this. We went to go visit some, like, monument or this historical place in Houston. And I don't remember which one it was, but all I know is that we're sitting down and just enjoying everything, and we're just sitting right next to each other, and then Drew finally has the balls to say, so, like, I just wanted to let you know that I've had a crush on you since we were 17.
I told her I liked her about halfway through, just very blunt, hey, I like you, I've liked you for a long time. She didn't respond like, she didn't crazy like, how do I explain? She didn't really have a response.
You wanted like, I like you too.
No, or anything of like, oh, well, awesome, I like you too. and a smile or something. No, she was just super serious face, super contemplative. Like she was exploring her whole life right there in that moment.
I remember you telling me, and like it was just a lot because I just went for so long not knowing. But I remember saying like, oh, I didn't know, like not in a bad way, it's just like I didn't know, I had no idea. Like I do remember once you told me that, I started getting physically more closer.
Yeah, you started trying to like hold my hand and stuff like that. Like,
okay,
so there was like, yeah, you did try to let me know, I guess.
Yes, I am interested. So you gotta say that too. You can't like throw me.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that.
Yeah. So once you told me, and once I started feeling, once I had like the time to like process everything, and then once I realized, okay, well, I really do like this guy, I started showing you physically, like just being closer to you, like letting myself bump into you, letting my hand be near you. Like I started doing all that, that made you realize like, okay, Gina is interested as well.
So we get like 3/4 of the way through the road trip into Louisiana. We were visiting temple. Like we had made a goal, like any temples of our church that we would try to stop at. It's super peaceful. At this point I'm debating like, okay, what's my next steps? Like I've already confessed my heart to her that I like her. So do I take a next step and take a step further and like seal the deal of like I'm gonna go for the first kiss, or do I just leave it? So we finally got there. We actually got stuck in the grounds, like they had a gate there. Do you remember that? We got locked into the grounds, and being locked into the grounds, I think I was lucky that they left a ladder. They were painting or something. Yeah. And so I used the ladder. No. I had to climb. The fence out.
To get the ladder.
Get the ladder for Gina, set the ladder down, and then she could use the ladder to get out. And so we were laughing and joking about that, and I'm sure Gina's like, oh, ha, 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 ha. And I was like, okay, now's the time. So I lean over and I move in for the kiss.
And he misses.
And I miss because Gina's just laughing and she's just turning her head.
And then when he misses, I laugh even harder.
And then she laughs even harder. So at that point, I just was like, okay, that's it, I'm done. You basically put your hand like, okay.
Nervous again.
I think you noticed I was embarrassed, so you were just like, oh, let me put my hand. You move your hand and then,
well, I didn't mean it. Was like it was a funny moment, like this whole situation
of
being stuck
moment.
And like on this property with no way out, and then having to get out, and then I have to jump over this fence. Even though I had a lot of help me on one side, but I had to jump over this fence. Drew had to catch me, and I'm laughing because the whole situation from there.
Almost history. Like we just had an exceptionally good time. I guess we technically had our first date after that.
Yeah.
We went out to this really Cajun, really nice, almost fancy restaurant.
You still can't remember this to this day.
I can't remember the name of it. I wish we knew what the name was, but
so we could recreate it or
something. We headed back to Georgia. I dropped Gina off, or Gina dropped me off, I guess. It's her car. And then I started to head back to work, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like I can't go back and live in another state because I want to continue to build this relationship. So it's probably at that point that I feel like I fell in love. Like it was at the end of the trip, I was leaving Georgia and I was thinking, I can't just walk away from this. I don't think it'll work long distance. Just knowing her over time as a friend, like things didn't work very well long distance where she couldn't be physically in the same space. I never technically asked you to go out with me while we were together road tripping.
Yeah, so it wasn't until
it was like on the phone. Yeah, I was like driving away on the phone. I was like, I better lock this in. I was like, Gina, I don't want to do this over the phone, but will you go out with me? You're like, yes, I would love to go out with you.
I remember that. And we were starting talking about things that we wanted, like in a spouse and stuff like that. And you told me you loved me for the first time. You said it first. I did not say when we were in Bear Creek.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Well, of course. Why would if I was in love with you? Why wouldn't I say I love you?
Oh, wow.
Girls are weird like that, guys. Like we have questions for this segment as well. What milestone did y'all reach on the road trip? I feel like we answered that pretty well. We went from friends to dating to I love you.
Oh, we went from friends to first kiss.
Gina went from friends to first kiss to boyfriend, girlfriend.
No. Why are you saying Gina? The same thing. What happened?
No, if I told you I loved you at the end of the trip, then I obviously got to.
True. It's that not that I didn't love him. I am a person that takes a little bit longer. That's what I said. I remember. I'm like, I really care for you too.
Which basically means I love you. When did y'all first hold hands and kiss? What happened at y'all's first kiss? We answered that a little bit as well. So Louisiana was our first kiss.
Yeah.
Technically, the very first kiss was a miss, so it was a second kiss.
Yeah.
So how long was it before you said I love you back? So we know that I said I love you pretty early on, just for my emotions on my sleeve, just get it all out there. I had waited 5 years to say something, so when the time came, it's just like, boom, why not? YOLO, baby. So,
I think it took me another week or two.
Did y'all face any challenges as an interracial couple?
While we were dating, internally maybe I did. Externally, maybe because internally I knew that we would be facing. Like, for the most part, when we were on the road trip, we were in our own little bubble.
We were just spending a lot of time alone together. I think we immediately started having discussions with both of our families about who we were dating, why we were dating, if it was going to be an issue. I know at one point I sat down with your dad and I was just like, hey, I just want to make sure that it's okay that I'm white. Because I didn't want any hidden feelings, I didn't want any hidden agendas, I just wanted to get it out there and know if we were going to run into issues or not with family. And Gina's dad, he was super awesome. He was just like, no. He's like, I don't care if you're white or not, I care how you treat my daughter. Treat my daughter well and give her everything she needs and grow a family and I'll always be here for her. If you treat her wrong, she can come home. If you don't do what's right, she can come home. If she needs money, I got money I can give her. So he wanted to make sure that I knew that he could support her in case I failed or didn't do my job. She always had a place to go.
I think for me too, it's been growing up black, you always have this fear. And I didn't ask specific questions like to his mom or his dad or stepmom, but I was very weary. I think I just kind of waited for them to bring something up and they didn't. I was so afraid to talk to his parents because I was afraid of like the answer, the rejection or just the answer.
How long did we date until we got married? So it was like 3 months married. So we dated for 3 months, we were engaged 3 months, and we were married. When did you know you wanted to marry Gina? Honestly, it was after probably about a month of dating. After a month, I was like 80-90%, like I'm pretty sure I want to marry this girl. It was definitely at like the 2 month mark that I was like, okay. I actually had a conversation with Gina of like, if like, you know, I had a ring and it was presented to you, like how would you react?
And I said yes.
And she was like, yeah, just don't ever ask me that again unless you're actually going to ask me, but it would be a yes. I would be ready. Did any of your family members object to marrying another culture? Well, my mom's husband at the time, so my mom's ex-husband, no, he didn't come to the wedding.
Should have been a sign.
Should have been a sign.
So let's explain. This is not Drue's biological dad or anything like that. And so I had visited a couple of times and he was always nice to me, like in person. But this is also the reason why people who are like, oh, like, how can they be racist? They were nice to you. Here's the thing. He was always nice to me, around me, but he would always say little racist things. And of course, like, you're trying to, and I admit, like, I probably should have said something. Like, I was trying so hard to, like, maybe ignore some of that stuff. And Drue's mom was the sweetest. Like, she took me in and she, like, saw me as her daughter and wine and dined me because she was just so happy. Like,
she treated you like a daughter she never had.
Yeah.
And, like, got your nails done.
So I kind of ignored some of the things that her spouse was doing because I know she cares for me. But her spouse was the best.
And so we honestly didn't run into a ton of issues with family either way. Gina's family was super accepting.
Yeah.
My family,
was accepting.
they were accepting as well.
Except for his stepdad.
From there, I mean, we had a huge wedding, and then like the rest was history. The last question I think is in there, which is just, I think, a fun question, is did either of us interracially date before we dated each other? So had I ever dated anyone of another race. And so you go first, Gina.
No, you go.
No, you go first.
You go.
Went out with friends, like we went out with friends.
We went out with friends, dates.
You mean like girlfriend, boyfriend?
Or not girlfriend and boyfriend, even on a date.
So yes, I went on dates with people of other races.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 different times. Once to prom and then one to the movies. If you consider that dating, but it was, for me, it's just going hanging out with friends. But it happened to be 2 guys and 2 girls. My answer would be yes, I did date outside of my race before I dated Gina.
Okay.
What about you, sweetie?
Okay.
Huh?
Why? Stop pinching me. And so, yes, I've dated a lot of different races. White, black, Middle Eastern, just all different.
We really do feel blessed that we just even met each other that year at church camp, that we were able to stay connected, that I didn't give up hope. Where we're at this point in our lives is we've been married for 10 years. We have 5 beautiful children, and we created this channel just to share a little bit more intimate with our family with you guys. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. We'll answer.
And also remember to like and subscribe so that you guys can follow on our journey, our family, and I'm just excited that you guys are here. I'm happy that you're here with us.